Welcome back, grade 12s. This is going to be your lesson on how to complete the shaft, which is part 3 for the caster. And that is this part right here. A fairly basic looking part, very similar to the post, except there's a rib in here. And we're going to review work planes in this lesson, but something new is how to create the rib feature in Inventor, which is something that we never looked at in grade 11. So to get started, we're going to go into Inventor. We're going to click New. Again, make sure metric is highlighted and you're selecting standard mm.ipt. Click Create. This is going to bring us into our part creation. And we're going to start with a 2D sketch. I like the XY plane. I'm going to select that one. And I'm going to start with a circle at 0, 0. I'm going to draw the largest diameter first, which is going to be a diameter of 16. Enter. Finish sketch. Extrude. This is 2 millimeters according to the iPad. Go into isometric view. Okay, so moving on, we're going to select a sketch on this face. This is going to be the 7.5 diameter, so the longest part of the shaft. So we're going to select the circle, go back to 0, 0, and key in 7.5, enter. Hit Finish Sketch and hit Extrude. Now, this is a bit tricky figuring out how long to extrude this because there's an overall length given of 40 millimeters, and it also includes the head of the shaft, which I've already done. So if I was to key in 40, I need to subtract 2. And I also need to subtract the end where the retaining ring groove diameter sits, because I need to draw that separately, and I also need to draw separately the very end, the 7.5 diameter that sits beyond the retaining ring groove. So I need to subtract another 3. So this is really 35 millimeters in length, this diameter. So we're going to click OK. We've done it. Now we're going to continue on another 2D sketch on this face, another circle at 0, 0, and this one is 6.4. Click Finish Sketch, Extrude. This one extrudes, according to the iPad screen I'm looking at, 0.73. Click OK. Now that looks tiny compared to what I'm looking at on the sheet, and some people tell me, oh, that doesn't look right because it looks much wider on the actual reference page you work from, but it's fine. It's a little out of scale on the reference sheet. It comes from a drafting and design book, while this is much more the proper scale and perception in terms of the sizes we're inputting, so don't worry about it. So we're going to continue on, hit 2D sketch, click this face, another circle at 0, 0, and this one is 7.5 like the second one that we did. Hit Finish Sketch. This one extrudes 3 minus 0.73. We have to subtract 0.73 based on the way it's dimensioned on the reference page, because that 3 includes the retaining ring groove diameter, and I've already drawn it, so I need to subtract it out. So 3 minus 0.73, hit OK, and there I have it. So one other simple thing we can do on this is select the chamfer feature, and it says that there's a 45 degree times 1.5 chamfer on the end. So the distance, we'll modify this to say 1.5. We'll select this edge preview looks good, we'll hit OK. And again, that looks much larger than it does on the reference screen. But you know what? Again, like I said, this does look proper. What we're modeling looks much more proper than what we're seeing on the reference sheet. So we'll do a little free orbit. Take a look at this. It looks good. We are not quite done yet. Now here's the new part. Well, not totally new. We're going to put a work plane on here. So to place a work plane onto this dead in the middle, we can go over to our project browser, hit the arrow under origin, show the planes. So this is, we can use the YZ plane for this. So I'm going to select the YZ plane, select work plane, come over here, and remember I can drag a plane out. But I don't want the plane to be dragged out. I want it to be dead in the center. So I'm just going to set it as 0 and hit check mark. So now I've got my work plane dead middle. This is what I want. I'm going to be extruding the rib from the center in both directions. So this is the easiest way to do this. So got my front view, my right view. I think I'll do this from the left view because that's the way it's seen on the reference screen that I'm looking at. Okay, so to do a rib, we're going to start with a 2D sketch. We're going to select our work plane number 1, and we're going to grab a line. We're going to draw a line. We want to make sure that we're on Y2 millimeters and then come down to this constraint right here. You see that pop up at the bottom there? Once you see that, you can left click. And we'll right click, left click OK to escape. Alright, so now we're going to do some dimensioning. We're going to dimension this from this angular line to the top of the round shaft. This has to be modified to be 45 degrees. Type 45, hit check mark. And we also are going to run a dimension from this point here to here. And this is going to make it 2 millimeters. According to, it says that the rib is 2 by 45 degrees. Alright, so that's constrained. I don't need to put a line here or a line here. I only need one angular line as my sketch constrained with these 2 dimensions. So we're going to hit finish sketch. Let's go into an isometric view and let's zoom in on this a bit. Next, we're going to find rib feature. Select it. We need to select the line here, and we need to select parallel to sketch plane. And this is going to extrude this, so we're going to make sure that to next is highlighted. We're not going to use finite here, so don't pick this one. We actually want this to extrude along the back of the head of the shaft and over top of the cylindrical curve of the shaft. So we're going to make sure we have to next set. This looks great. It's actually curving over top the way we want it to, but we just have to change the thickness. So change the thickness to 2, because that's what it's asking for on the reference page. Alright, so the preview looks good. I'm going to hit OK, and we've created our rib. So if I was to go free orbit this around, you can notice the curve, right? So we're also going to go to our front view, and basically the rib is hugging the radius of that shaft diameter, and that is the correct way to do the rib. So there are other ways to do it with sketches and extrusions and constraining, but it's not going to be correct. You actually have to use the rib feature to do this, to make this look totally correct. Alright, so that work plane We're not going to delete it. We're going to right click, uncheck visibility with my left mouse button. And the last thing I'm going to do is just change the material finish. Right? So we can change this to steel. Right here. Done. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is save it. We're saving it with the others. I'm keeping a folder of all this stuff. Caster lessons. Okay, so I'm calling this one Part 3 Shaft. I'm missing my post. I have to throw it into my folder here. You have to keep all these things together because we're going to be doing an assembly file soon. So hit save. And I have it. So this part is finished. We have one more part to model, and it is the bracket. If you're looking for something to do, try it on your own. But I will be doing a lesson for that one shortly. So that I consider that to be the challenger of all the parts. That's the hardest part to create. So until that time, good luck, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.